Well, good morning. I'll kind of catch you up. There've been a lot of questions coming asking me to decipher what I said last week in regards to the MRI. I think one of the things that I forget, and I guess everybody forgets, is that we live in this, we live in a world where we've learned quite a bit of. So when I say there's some signaling on the MRI that they don't like, I know exactly what that means. But unless you've had a lot of MRIs where signaling has shown up, you probably don't know what that means. So let me explain last week's good news slash bad news, and then I want to talk a little bit about 2 Corinthians 1:11, and then I want us to pray that the gospel will go out powerfully next week at the University of Texas. And so let me explain the signaling. Basically, last week on the MRI, what they saw is some discolorization deep down into my brain, near the kind of middle of the brain, and that discolorization is either swelling from the surgery or it's oligodendroglioma. And so either way, the good news is that it's shrank. And so if it's the oligodendroglioma, then the Timidar and radiation have worked and have significantly shrank that discolorization. Now, if it's swelling, then 2 months from now we do another MRI. That stuff should start coming to light. So that's what we saw on the signal. There is still some signaling issues, but at the end of the day, it was good news. So that was what I was trying to explain. This has been the first full week back on the chemo. So far, I felt just a little bit of hitches here and there, although they have said, and I'll tweet this here in a little bit just in regards to getting some prayer, but I'm shooting this on late Thursday afternoon so it can post this morning. That the worst days are day 5 and day 6, and so I have felt a bit of a fatigue today at different spots in the day. I had a hard time getting out of bed this morning, which isn't normally the case, and then a couple of times today I felt just a little drained, and so supposedly tomorrow and Saturday are supposed to be the worst of that, and then I should be able to kind of climb out quickly. That's what the doctors have said. What I'm hoping for is that it won't get much worse than it was today. So I would appreciate your prayers over the next 48 hours, just as we kind of push through this last bit. Anyway, this week I've been in 2 Corinthians just in my own devotional life, but really was thinking on and meditating on Paul's words in 2 Corinthians 1 verse 11, where it says this: "You also must help us by prayer, so that many will give thanks on our behalf for the blessings granted us through the prayers of many." And I've been intrigued lately in regards to Paul's theology of prayer, because there's absolutely no mistake that he believes that God is sovereign over all, and he doesn't believe that you can manipulate the mind of God. But it seems in passages like this that he also believes that you can join in, and in a powerful way join God in what he is doing. So I don't think that in this text, when he says you must also help us by prayer, so that many will give thanks on our behalf for the blessing guaranteed through the prayers of many, or in the other two instances in Scripture where he almost makes it sound like them getting out of prison is dependent on the prayers of the saints. He's got this kind of tension that he creates in this sovereign God who's over all and in all and through and ultimately governs all, but that the prayers of the saints go up to heaven and is sweet to the Lord and joins God in what he is doing. And so with that said, let me give you just a couple of ways that you can pray. First and foremost, next week I'm down at the University of Texas on Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night doing their Res Week. And just that we would see the gospel go out and the word spoken fall on good ground, and that lives would be changed by the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's first and foremost how you can join me in praying, just that it would be heard and understood and received, and that I know what God did in my life in college, and I've seen what he's done seen in other people's lives in college, and so just that the word would be heard, and that guys that we'll become aware of years and years and years from now might have heard the word and received it next week here in Austin, Texas. So if you could pray that way, I would greatly appreciate it. Secondly, just pray for my strength as we finish up this first round of chemotherapy. And then third, and this is a way that I'm really asking the Lord to just show himself to be mighty, is, man, I would love it in 2 months from now if we did the MRI and there was just nothing there. And I'm praying that and asking for that. I don't need that. I don't need him to do that, but I want him to. And so that's my hope. And if you'll join me in praying for that. Really, in the brain tumor world, if you hear stable, if there's no growth, or if there's shrinkage, those are things to celebrate. But for things to disappear, that's kind of almost unheard of. And so, man, if you could pray for that, we'll pray that God would woo all of us, including my doctors. So, love you guys. If you're at the Village, I will see you this weekend. I will be there. We're baptizing quite a few people across all 3 campuses this weekend. So if you get a chance to read Acts 16, I'll say just a few words. And the Flower Mound campus, literally, I think I've got 10 minutes and Bleeker's doing 1 song. The rest will be baptismal testimonies. So it'll be a great weekend of celebration and communion. Come join us. I'll see you there. I love you guys very much. Be blessed.